Let's talk about Colby Covington versus Robbie Lawler. Okay, now that fight, I know a lot of you were heartbroken, and a lot of you were a bit upset, and some of you even thought that Robbie Lawler threw the fight. Some people were telling me, "Oh, I think he threw the fight." Okay, number one, okay, there's no way Robbie Lawler threw that fight. Okay, let's put that aside right away. Okay, those are real punches. I was there at the event. I saw the first few rounds live. I mean, I had to watch the fight after. I had to leave. I couldn't stay for the whole fight. I had to rewatch it after. I did rewatch it completely. And I'll tell you something, okay? Those are real punches. That's a real fight, 100% real. Both men were doing their best to win. People who are saying it was fixed, that's total nonsense. Okay, Robbie Lawler was there to win that night. I personally don't think there's enough money in the world for Robbie Lawler to throw a fight. Okay, personally, I don't think there's a number out there in which he would lay down for another man. I don't think he needs money. Okay, I think he's plenty rich. I think he's a fairly simple guy. I don't think he's the type of guy who wants to buy an airplane and own his own, own 20 boats. I think he's happy. He's probably very, well off. Super well off. He's a very talented guy. Very well deserved. He's built an incredible career. I'm sure he's made tons of money. He doesn't need money. Okay, so why were people so disappointed? Well, I think, Colby comes off as the bad guy. He comes off as the, an antagonizing bad guy, and he really hits below the belt. Like, for those of you, I'm sure you've heard of his comments after the fight. He took a jab at Matt Hughes. We've all heard that Matt Hughes, of course, survived a train accident. He got hit by a train. He was in the car when he got hit by a train, and it nearly killed him. He was in a coma. He was in very bad shape. And now, thankfully, he's back out and about, and he's recovering. And I've talked to him personally after his accident, and I asked him just how he was doing, and he told me he's doing good and he's back on track. I can't tell you the extent of what he's living with now, but it's not great. He's not 100% back. He has a limp. He's walking as best he can, and he's probably going to be suffering from pain for the rest of his days. Now, Colby, after the fight, was like, "Hey, Robbie, you should have learned the lesson from your good pal, Matt Hughes. Whether it's a Trump train or a Colby train, get out the way." Now, in my opinion, that was just really, really below the belt. Really below the belt. Like, just not funny. And I know a lot of people are going to say, he's just playing a role. That's not who he is. And I believe that wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. That's just a role he's playing. I would bet anything that Colby's a nice kid. Nice guy, sweet guy. He does strike me as a guy with a chip on his shoulder still. I don't know him personally, but I'm sure that's not who he is. He's just doing that because he thinks you guys are going to tune in and pay big bucks to see him get a beating or give somebody a beating. Whether you like him or hate him, you want to tune in. Why? Because there's a chance he might get beat up. There's a chance he might eat his words. And if he wins that fight, he's going to make you eat your words, for all the pre-fight talk, all of you thinking, oh, he's going to lose, finally he's going to eat his words. Now he could turn around right back and shove it down your throat. This does sell tickets, unfortunately it does. And he's going to be very popular, very famous because of it. And I don't think that it came off really, I don't think that's really who he is. Why? Because I feel like when he was giving those lines, it was pretty rehearsed. I felt it was rehearsed. I think that he didn't come up with that on the spot. I think he had thought of it. It seemed premeditated, and it still gets a kick out of people. Me personally, it doesn't really do anything for me. I really want to focus more on the fight, but I know you guys are going to bring that up in the comments right away, so I might as well address it. I think he's just playing a role. He's obviously playing a role. Now, about the fight. Listen, there's not much to analyze here. He's just head and shoulders above Robbie Lawler in wrestling. Head and shoulders above Robbie Lawler in conditioning. And even his striking was superior on the feet. Even his striking, if you just play all the footage of them striking on their feet, Colby landed more, and he landed the hard shots. I think Lawler had two good flurries, and they were not potentially fight-ending flurries. I thought he completely got outstruck by Colby, both on the feet and obviously on the ground. Obviously on the ground. Okay, guys, for me, it was a total blowout. It was a one-sided affair. Much respect to both men. He just got out wrestled. He got out struck. He got out conditioned. He didn't change his strategy during the fight. His coach during the fight, who's a very seasoned wrestling coach, extremely well-seasoned wrestling coach, Craig Jones. You know, he was just trying to get under Robbie's skin. He's like, go get him, you know, do this to him, do that to him. Put your hands in his face. Like, forget your game plans. Forget your game plans. Go at him. I think he was trying to motivate Robbie emotionally. Now, some people might say that's wrong. You got to give the guy technical advice. I agree. 99% of the time I would agree with that. But sometimes a fighter is just sleeping out there. And it's an emotional thing. Why is it an emotional thing? Because he's thinking about, you know, he's thinking about something other than his goal. So I don't totally disagree with what Craig Jones did. I think it made sense. Because for me, Robbie had to throw. Whether he hits his target or not, he had to throw. He wasn't going to win. If you guys watched the fight, Robbie went through a phase where he was just kind of rolling and defending and rolling. You don't win fights rolling. You don't win fights rolling. He did too much of it. Rolling is good. Blocking is good. Shielding is good. Footwork is good. But Robbie's known for a guy who's very aggressive and throws a lot. And he didn't. He didn't this night. Now, my opinion is because he kept getting taken down and it mentally set him back. I think he was shocked by the amount of pressure he was getting by Colby. He looked to me like a guy who was surprised. Robbie looked to me like a guy who was surprised. I'm sure Colby and Lawler have sparred in the past. You know, they're training partners, ex-training partners. And I'm sure Colby's put it on him like this before. But maybe not to this extent. I think Colby's gotten a lot better in the striking department. And I think that might have shocked Robbie a little bit. Because Robbie did look like he was in a bit of a trance. And that's why I do agree with Craig Jones. Get on him, man. Throw those punches. But again, Robbie, probably in the back of his mind, if I throw, I'll get taken down. If I throw, I'll get taken down. I would have liked to see more body shots from Robbie. Because when you're hitting the body, it's hard to miss at the body. It would encourage Robbie to move forward. And if he throws a body punch while Colby's shooting, he'll probably get an underhook and be able to defend those takedowns. At least he has more chance to defend the takedowns. Because anyways, punching to the head wasn't helping him. He was still getting taken down. I forget how many takedowns he scored, but I think it was a new UFC record. I'm not sure about that. I think I think it would be Khabib versus Trejulo. But it must have been close because Robbie did get taken down an enormous amount.